Strong looks different for each of us, and it's time to put focus on our unique journeys that get us there. This space, created weekly, is for athletes to improve their mindset in order to better navigate challenges that come up in sport and in different seasons of life. On this show, we ask the questions that lead to better answers and have the conversations that truly matter. This is the Becoming Your Strong podcast. Hey, you guys. Welcome back to another episode of the podcast. Oh, do I have a funny story for you guys. It's actually the Becoming Your Strong moment of the week, which I'm going to call out myself and my partner Dave because of the unexpected weekend that we had. It was like a week ago, maybe a little longer than a week ago, that we wanted to try and do something for the 4th holiday. And we were thinking about using the tent box again, going out camping, but we wanted to bring along Chloe, and Chloe's not the greatest camper yet. And so we were like, okay, let's maybe look for a cabin situation. And we immediately find this off the grid, fantasy looking cabin. And we were like, dude, this is the one. So we book it. We're really excited. We went down to Woodland Park that Friday morning, did a little festival, then we checked in. Well, let's just say it was interesting. We get there and we're thinking, oh my gosh, this view is absolutely incredible. It's everything that it said it was. And we walk inside and we're like, uh-oh. This cabin was built in 2016 and nothing wrong with it structurally by any means. But the just cleanliness of the cabin itself was absolutely disgusting. There were dead bugs on the cabinets, on the floor, dust everywhere. There was sheets that were basically balled up into the middle of the bed, and it looks like someone just slept in them the night before, and the linens were not clean. Just things that we needed for the compost toilet, things were not stocked. I mean, it was just each little bit that we kept like unfolding, it just got worse and worse and worse. And mind you, it is like 5:00 at night. And we're thinking, okay, the host isn't being very responsive to us. We're trying to tell us things, and all we're getting back is like, are you sure the cleaners said that they cleaned the things? Like, we're not getting much assistance or much help. And I'm sitting here thinking like, okay, we can't stay here. And if we don't stay here, we have nowhere else to stay. The chances of us booking something else on the evening of 4th of July is very slim. And so the only option that we have is to basically go and disperse camp, which is not the end of the world. We have the tent box on top of the car, but oh my goodness, like this, we have nothing like ready for camping. Luckily, we had a cooler with some food because we were planning on using those things at the cabin, but we didn't have sheets for inside the tent box. We didn't have our sleeping bags. We literally were not prepared to do this at all. And again, Chloe is not a camper. She's not a camping doggy. She doesn't enjoy it nearly as much as you'd hope she would. So this was slowly but surely becoming a nightmare, especially because even if we wanted to disperse camp, we had to find a spot, which again, on 4th of July weekend, not necessarily the time that you are crossing your fingers that you're going to find something last minute. Lo and behold, we ended up finding something. It was a great night. We got some sleep. Chloe did fantastic. And we were able to book another place, which was very clean. The bed was super comfortable for the other evening that we were out there. But I just wanted to shout that out, one, because it's a funny story that I think that many of you would get some giggles out of. And then two, just the ability to choose calm and stay solution focused and to make the best of what was in front of us. Like, none of it was ideal. We were at Walmart at 6:00 at night, like trying to think about where we were going to go and just grabbing things, hoping that we were going to find a spot to stay for the evening. Like, we just made the absolute best of everything that we could. And I just think that that's another definition of strength, is choosing the higher road versus choosing to wallow and be upset and frustrated about everything that's not showing up for you in that moment. So That is the Becoming Your Strong moment of the week. Hope you enjoyed it. And we're back home. Chloe is very excited to be back home. Oh my gosh, the weekend of fireworks plus just being moved all over the place and being in places she wasn't familiar with. That puppy dog was so stinking tired and snuggly, which is great. But what was good about the trip was actually our drive back. It was really long. It was a little over 3 hours, but we got to do some bonding time in the car, and that is ultimately what sort of inspired the podcast topic for this week. We were listening to a podcast. It was one of Simon Sinek's episodes, and he was bringing on a guest to talk about happiness. And it was just so full of golden nuggets and wisdom and realness around just the topic that I wanted to essentially do a mid-year reflection, a mid-year check-in with the listeners. Because at the end of the day, while all of us are chasing these big goals and dreams and pursuits with an athletic, personal, professional career, what we're really hoping for in this life is to feel joy and to feel happy and to constantly live life and that happiness. Maybe not constantly, but we really do chase happiness. And just after what I heard, I just feel like there's so many great things to not only ask myself, but ask you as the listeners, just to really gauge, like, how are you really? How are you doing so far in 2025? And is there any reason or need to sort of redirect? Maybe again, you're in that slump. You're not really sure what's next for you. We talked a little bit about that last week in the episode. And I just want to, again, follow that up with, let's continue to ask ourselves questions that are going to get ourselves better answers, that are going to make us better people, right? And get us the solutions, the outcomes that we really, really want. And so I am going to essentially just throw out 3 questions or 3 things to really understand and to have you think deeply about as it relates to your own life and situation. So the first thing that I want to say, just like before even going into the 3, is just to remember that happiness is ultimately a choice. And you have to choose happy, not just expect it to come to you. And this is something I've talked about on the podcast, like way back in the beginning when it was Taco About It Tuesday, is that joy, happiness, these things that you want to feel, they are ultimately a choice, which means that we have to put in the work. And the work is answering these questions, is really taking this to heart, doing the reflection piece of this. And so with that being said, the first thing that I want to ask you guys in your mid-year reflection is, what is enough? What is enough in your athletic pursuits? What is enough in your career? What is enough in your finances? What is enough just in life, in your different capacities of life? Can you define that? Have you thought about that as of recently? Determine what that is for you in this season of life, realizing that this season of life is not like the last or the previous ones for that matter. We talked about that last week with measure of success. Same thing here. Is this season of life, it's totally different. You might actually be in the middle of a shift. Well, what is enough? What is enough for you to sit there and feel like, not that you're complacent, but that you are fulfilled, that you are satisfied, that you can just be, just exist without wishing and constantly wanting more, which is like, I feel like something we all struggle with. We get something and we say that's going to bring us happiness. And then we're already 2 seconds later, after we've achieved it, looking for the next big thing, because we can't sit still, because we can't be present. We can't just actually enjoy reality and what life is bringing to us in this particular moment, right? So in addition to that, I would also even add too, like, what is enough within these different capacities, but also what expectations do you currently have of yourself, of others, of life, again, of those different things within life? And are there any expectations that you have that just currently are not serving you? Write all these things down. And this might be something that you spend several minutes on, just thinking about what is enough and are the expectations that I have of these things, are they steering me in the wrong direction? Are they ultimately driving me nuts? Are they driving me to feel less than, right? Take time to really dig deep into these questions. The second one is to understand that happy is your default setting. This was one of my favorite things that I took away from the podcast, was that happiness isn't something that comes from externals, it comes from within. And it's not just about what it comes from within, it's truly understanding that like we came out of the womb happy. We were happy babies. I mean, until we were hungry, then we were hangry babies and we cried until we got the attention and got fed. Then after we went back to our default setting, which was happy. And then somewhere along the line, we had rules and expectations and societal pressures, all of these things that started to shape us, all of this nurture that started to shape us and the way that we look at things, how we just navigate this world. And our default setting has shifted to the point where we are chasing happiness instead of just realizing that it's already within. So how much would it like give you relief if you realized you didn't need to actually know what made you happy, you just had to remove what didn't? Think about that for a second. Would that bring this whole idea of like just trying to be happy? Would that kind of give you a peace of mind, just knowing I just need to focus on removing the gunk that stresses me out and all the things that don't serve me, and I will be happy? I know for me, it was like, I felt like I didn't have to unlock any answers. I felt like I immediately knew what I needed to do to just get back to that default setting of happiness. So the question for you, what are the things that are currently stressing you out? List those things out and make it an action to eliminate those things versus trying to chase all of these things that you think will bring you happiness, right? We go back to what we talked about last week of chasing the time that we're hoping to get on a certain race or chasing a certain outcome. We don't have to chase those things anymore. We just have to remove those things that are literally driving us up a damn wall. And the answer will become clear to us of where we need to be spending our time and our energy and our focus. The last thing, and I love this one so much, is to replace targets with a compass. It's not about getting to a specific outcome, a singular destination, a specific point, but having a direction that truly fulfills you while bringing you to what you were meant for. Instead of, again, having the specific place that you make it to, where if your success is measured off of whether or not you make it there, you have a direction that brings you joy, that brings you purpose, that allows for you to feel passionate. And you're just allowing for the compass to take you through whatever experiences that it needs you to teach you the lessons that you need to learn, to give you the experiences that are going to give you so much wisdom and so much perspective, right? And then you find yourself in this place that still was in the general direction, but it wasn't like that one thing that you pinpointed on the map. It just was the thing that was absolutely meant for you, because you weren't sit there like trying to jiggle on a door handle that was no longer going to open. Like, how often do we do that? Is jiggle and jiggle and jiggle on a door that like it's not meant for us to open. So replace that action with just, I know I need to go in this general direction. And if I continue to put in the work and I ask myself the right questions to get the right answers, to reflect and to essentially trust the process, that when I listen to myself, when I trust my gut and take one foot and put in front of the other, I'm going to get to where it is that I'm meant to be. Oh, like doesn't that just bring the pressure off of your shoulders and allow for you to just live, to just be present in the moment, to not think about the what ifs this went wrong, but just to like fully enjoy what is? Absolutely love that. Now, if you are on the cusp of doing really big things and you are nervous about taking the leap after doing all of this reflection time, putting in the work, answering these questions, this is what I want you to hear. Holding back is basically stealing. Not giving all of yourself, not pursuing what really matters to you is, to the rest of us that are watching and cheering you on, it's considered stealing to us. Remove the selfishness that is not allowing those who absolutely love you and want to see you win to see the version of you that gets to live out those big dreams. Thank you guys so much for showing up for you today. I hope this short yet impactful episode really does help put you in the right direction again to conquer the rest of this year in a way that truly fulfills you. Please be sure to rate and review the podcast if you haven't already, and send it to friends and family that really need to hear this message. But I will see you guys next week for another episode of Becoming Your Strong. See you then.